I meet a guy, I get pregnant, and I get married because I'm pregnant. But while I'm pregnant, I can't stay clean the whole time.
Yeah. You can't.
You know, and that is so hard to say because, you know, my son knows it, but he doesn't.
Let's be honest about recovery.
The rewards, the challenges.
Let's talk about our failures.
We are flawed people, after all.
Let's challenge the stigmas that weigh us down.
Because while most of us are looked at,
Few of us are seen.
Let's talk about addiction.
And how Christ overcomes our weaknesses.
Because we are loved.
Because we are loved.
Because
loved.
we are loved.
We are loved.
We are
Because
loved.
we are loved.
Hi, I'm Amanda. This is my story. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I was in addiction for 15 years. In 2020, went to treatment, surrendered to God, and now my life looks much different.
Hey there, and welcome back to Jesus Loves Addicts. I'm Katherine, and today I've got Ross with me.
Hello.
Today we're going to be speaking with Amanda Stone Smith. I actually don't know very much about Amanda's story, so I'm going to be finding out right with y'all. I do know she has about 15 years. She was in addiction for about 15 years, and she met God in 2020, and today we're going to find out exactly what brought her here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you
on
for
short
having
notice.
me.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Amanda. So just tell us about where this all started, about your childhood, where you grew up, stuff like that.
I grew up in North Mississippi in a little small town called Senatobia, just south of Memphis.
Okay.
I have an older brother who is 5 years older than I am, and I come from a very dysfunctional family. My grandparents, you know, were my constant in my life,
So were you living with your grandparents?
No. So I lived with my mother. My father committed suicide when I was in second grade. And my brother, you know, also lived there up until he was like 16 or 17. He moved out with a girlfriend. You know, he started, you know, doing his own thing and getting into trouble. But my mother, after my father committed suicide, you know, she always found another man that had his own issues as well, you know, whether that was addiction or alcoholism. And she has her own struggles and
Like trying to help them.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
Did you, were you already living with your mom, or did your dad live in the home?
My dad did live in the home.
Okay.
And then when he committed suicide.
And you were about 7. That would have been about...
I was almost 8 years,
Yeah.
I was right. It was 7, yeah.
Was there substance abuse involved with his...
Yes. He was an alcoholic and an addict, and he had been, like, he would go to treatment and get out and do okay, and I think he had done well for a few weeks then, and it was around Thanksgiving, and he had relapsed, and he was really...
Hopeless.
Just really lost.
What did that change? I don't even know how to phrase that. I can't imagine for anybody having to lose a parent that way at all. But for a 7-year-old, and it's already not a solid home.
Right. So a lot of my childhood, I think that I have blocked out. I have very few memories. Like, I don't have, like, I have a few memories of him, but a lot of my memories are, you know, chaotic from that time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he would drink really heavily, and I can remember the cops always coming and, you know, or us sneaking out the window and going to my grandmother's, you know, before the cops came. And it was just always chaos.
Yeah.
You know. But I feel, you know, he was a really hard worker. So it wasn't, you know, he was one of us that would work really hard, but as soon as he got off work, it was drinking from, you know.
Yeah. Reward himself for a hard day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're in second grade. Your dad is gone. Yeah, and you said your mom was struggling too. So how was his death dealt? Like,
was it talked about?
Was it talked about? Were you in counseling? Any sort of?
We weren't made to do therapy or anything. I think I saw the school counselor maybe one time, but my mother moved us to Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Okay.
Like she started seeing another man within like a month or two of him passing, and moved us to Gulf Shores for like a year or so, until my grandmother made her bring us
so
back
your dad
home.
passed away in a very tragic way, and then you completely uproot and move. Very traumatic.
2 months later. That's what I was saying. And it also took you away from your grandparents, and they were, your grandmother or both grandparents were your safe place?
My grandmother and grandfather were, but my grandfather was a truck driver and owned his own trucking business. But he was on the road all the time.
Gone.
So it was like grandmother, Southern Belle, Christian, always in the church, never drank, never smoked, like just like what I would call perfect.
Yeah.
If I could aspire to be anyone, it would be her.
Yeah.
This is who's
my mother's mother.
Your mother's mother. Okay.
Yes. I didn't see my dad's mom, but one time after he passed.
And your brother, that was your dad's as well?
No.
Your brother, you said, is 5 years older than you. Was he in the home?
Yes.
Okay.
He was adopted by my dad, but that's not something my brother even knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My brother, yes, he is in my eyes, my full brother, right?
Yeah.
But my dad did adopt him.
Okay.
But he never knew his dad. My brother, years later, was shot in the head, and he's partially paralyzed with less than half a brain. And today he has something it's like softening of the brain. So his short-term memory, he has short-term memory loss. His long-term memory's fine, like he knows who everyone is. But he can't remember, like, to take his medication. He has seizures and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I did.
So you go to Gulf Shores, and you come back to North Mississippi to live with grandmother, or
yes, to live with grandmother. But my mother decides to move back. When at first we were bringing my brother back only. And I decided to stay once we got back there. And so my mother decided she would move back as well.
So she moved back with y'all?
We stayed, I think, a month or so with my grandma.
And then she came
back.
Okay.
So when you were living with your grandmother, or I'm thinking when you were around her, she took you all to church.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. I stayed like always in church. GAs, you know how Southern Baptist churches have GAs, Girls in Action is what it's called. It's before you get into youth. Like I did all that summer camp, with the church, and it was like junior high when I started veering off.
Okay.
And
well, she definitely planted seeds though.
Yes. My grandmother didn't really, she would watch soap operas, but my grandmother read the Bible 24/7. If she was not at the church or working, and it wasn't lunchtime soap opera, grandmother was reading the Bible,
Okay.
So,
right.
And, she taught me my values and, who God was, and all the, who I am today is because of my grandmother. Because of God and my grandmother.
Yeah, I love that. So you did say, what did school look like for you? Did you make friends?
Yes.
Easily?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always had a lot of friends. We grew up in apartments, so there was always people around.
Okay.
And I have friends from that time that I'm still friends with today.
Okay.
Yeah.
You collected people.
Yeah.
All right.
I have some very close friends that
So
are in and out.
I know for myself, my parents could barely keep a lid on me, and there was both parents in the home. So your dad's not there, and your mom is having her own problems, and then your grandmother, and your grandfather's not there a lot. So was it easy for you to kind of start getting away with stuff?
Yeah and no.
No.
My mother didn't care,
Right.
Like my mother bought me my first dugout to smoke weed with at like 13 years old.
Okay.
It was okay if I smoked weed. It wasn't okay if I drank. That's how she felt. Or, took like pills. It was okay with her,
If you took them.
Like I had migraines and she would like give me Xanax for migraines at a really young age. And then, she would take me to the doctor to get medicine all the time. Those in her eyes were okay. That was okay.
Was it because they were prescribed or because it was permissible in her life and she didn't see a problem? Okay.
Did you know that was like, how do I put this? Stuff that your friends were not doing?
So no, because I thought it was normal.
Right.
Like it's coming out of the medicine cabinet and mom's giving it to me.
Right.
That was just normal to me because my
If
whole
she's
life.
given it must be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I
Well,
knew
it's coming
it
from
wasn't.
a pill bottle from a doctor.
Right. But I knew it wasn't normal at, I want to say I was 14 or 15. And, my friend and I would go get our moms their pills, buy their pills from a lady, and we would bring them back to our moms, and we would get so many of them for going and buying them.
How old were you?
I was 14 or 15.
Okay.
They would just give us the keys and tell us to go
Your
meet
reward.
this lady. Mm-hmm.
So this was, you're 14, 15, so you're in junior high?
Mm-hmm.
So opiates?
Yeah, no, at that time it was Xanax. I would take opiates like if I was prescribed them for, because I don't know if y'all remember when Meprigan was around. So I would get those prescribed from the doctor, but I didn't really like them. I would always get sick, which is really weird considering, now, later on in life, fentanyl was my drug of choice.
Yeah.
So, but it would make me so sick before then. It was Xanax before that.
So what is high school?
It was never like a all the time thing.
Yeah.
I went to school and then my mom would pull me out and I would homeschool for like a year. Then she would put me back into school.
Why would she take you out? So my life was
never constant. Oh, if she got upset about anything or if I was like, that teacher's mean to me, Mom. Manipulating the situation so that I could get out of school or, do what I wanted to do.
So she would
just take me out.
Homeschooling, she was teaching you?
Oh, no. She would go buy all these books, and I wouldn't even do anything. There, I did do a Christian homeschool called Gateway for a few years, but there was, I remember one year, it was my 8th grade year, she took me out, and I didn't do anything. I just had to take a placement test to go back to school.
Okay.
Yeah, and, I placed in the grade I was supposed to be in and went back.
So you just took a year off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just took a little break.
So, did she want, a little buddy to hang around with? Or, I just don't see why she would take you out. It seems like that would be more work on her part, having to do that.
Well, I think it was, my mother is very, is one of those that need you to need her. Right?
That's kind of what I was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yes, she loved it, having me around.
Where you were right there.
Bossing me and controlling every little move.
Where was your grandmother during that, when you were in and out of school?
Oh, she didn't know I wasn't really doing schoolwork. My mom would buy all these books, so to everyone else, it would look like I was really doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm really proud of her. She's homeschooled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you graduate regularly?
So I ended
Relationships, what does that look like through high school and out?
I would go stay with it. My mom went, one of the guy that she was with the longest that I call my stepdad, they were never really legally married. And I had stepsisters and stepbrother. When they split up after some years, my mother went back to work because she didn't work for a while because we received a check, from for my dad dying.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So, and the guy she was with, had a very good job, and I think he was doing other illegal things on the side. I didn't know that until I got older.
Yeah.
But my mom would send me to Texas to stay with my best friend for a month at a time. And I remember I had one of my first serious boyfriend was from lived in Texas. So I'd go out there for a month and stay. Sometimes she would allow me to stay with him, and yeah. So when I was 18, I turned 18 in January, and I was homeschooling then. Because I think I left school in the middle of my 10th grade year. So I went back my 9th grade, left school in the middle of my 10th grade. And at 18, I had met another guy that was from the area I was from, and I moved out and started seeing him, so I just quit going to school
altogether
and started working at the casinos in Tunica.
Okay.
But, at that time, we were drinking, but it was not like an everyday thing. I was actually supporting my mother. Mm-hmm. She had quit working by then. And
so you were financially responsible for both?
Pretty much. I mean, like, not all of her, but, I would...
Whatever she needed, you were there?
Which she needed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And honestly, I think that worked for her, too.
Yeah. It always has.
Yeah. So tell me Amanda, at what age did you know that you had a problem? Like, what does that look like?
So when I was 19, my brother was shot. And
you were 19, so he would have been 24, 25?
23 or 24, because his birthday's in May. Mine's the end of January is in May, yeah. So, and when I say he was shot, we don't really know what happened, what transpired, because there's some stories they were playing Russian roulette. There's some stories that he was shot.
By someone else that he knows? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, they were at a party.
I was about to. Yeah,
and my brother had Xanax in his pocket when it happened. So, they're not going to look into that. And it's a crazy situation.
Yeah.
So,
well, you can't really trust the eyewitness accounts because they're all going to be
right,
covering their butt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started taking, I was prescribed Xanax by that time. Because I also started, let me back up, I started seeing, a doctor. My mom would always take me to the doctor, and he would give me pain medicine, but she would take the pain medicine, and I would, get Xanax. By the time I was 18, he was prescribing me Xanax. But I did not take it daily or anything. It was becoming a problem, right?
Right.
But when my brother was shot, that's when it was full force a problem.
I can't even imagine, because if he's...
And I started being his caregiver. So, because my mom couldn't handle the sight of blood. So I stayed at the hospital with him, at the trauma hospital with him for months. They told us to tell him bye, because at first they couldn't stop the bleed. And, he had made a few major brain surgeries. He's had
shot in the head,
point blank right here. Yeah, with a revolver. So he lived on his own. Well, he lived with my mother. I stayed with I would go stay with him and help take care of him after he didn't get out of the hospital for months though. So we stayed in the hospital for 3 or 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to feed him and bathe him, because at first he couldn't do anything, and it just slowly came back. God just started. I'm telling you, if I didn't believe in God already, that would have been the time that I started believing in God.
Right, that would have been a faith builder. It has to be something bigger than me.
Right. Even the doctor said,
he shouldn't be here.
Yeah, there was no, it was not her. Something told her, which was God told her, to open him back up, because they had, thought they couldn't stop the brain bleed. When, stop the bleeding. But something told her to open him back up and do it. So, God told me that. And that would have been my God moment. But, that was just God showing up in my life.
Yeah.
One of the big times that God showed up, that I could really see God.
What did your brother's recovery look like to the extent he recovered, and now you're the younger sister and you're the caretaker?
Well, if you didn't know him before, you would think that he was just the same. He just you would have to wear a brace on his leg in order to walk. He had to learn how to walk again and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of his arms is paralyzed, but they put a plate in. So years later, that ended up having to be taken out because he had called staff. But it was normal. He started becoming normal. Of course, he had to use a cane and had a brace and a cane and things, but it became like he was my child. So it almost was like he was my first child, instead of being the little sister He became my son, not my mom's. You know, I took him to all of his neurologist appointments, you know, and did all those things. Meanwhile, I had also started taking liquid hydrocodone while he was in the hospital. My mother had some samples and gave me some, and I realized, I can, it's my back had gotten hurt flipping him and stuff. So I was like, I can take this and I have energy. And I don't cry in front of him. And
this is
Superwoman. Yeah. So
it's funny you say that because I didn't like painkillers like in high school when I took them, but once you take it and you get that energy, then it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Usually a bad sign.
Yeah. It's that was the worst thing for me.
Were you still on the Xanax?
Yes. Okay. But they slowly went away when I realized,
this is working for me.
How much better the opiates would work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have the anxiety anymore because I had the opiates.
Yeah.
All of that trauma I had never dealt with, you know.
It was away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My mind was quiet in that time, you know.
What did the progression look like for you?
So I would doctor shop and, you know, of course, up until, 2014, I think, I was doctor shopping, but I started doing Dilaudids. You know, the needle became into play in 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
So I was still getting the opiates, you know, from the doctor, but of course, you know, what we do with them.
Yeah.
And in order to get something stronger, but I had went to treat, so let me back all the way up.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of my brother, but my mother, you know, he's living with my mother. Then he gets his own place. But meanwhile, I'm still taking him to doctor's appointments. I'm working. I'm getting married in 2006 to my first husband. And he's a great guy and doesn't really do anything and has no clue that I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That he married a drug addict.
Right. You know, he knows that I'm taking medication, but he thinks that it's prescribed and, you know, he's never been around it. And it's okay.
Yeah. Well, you're not doing street drugs.
Right.
You're doing pharmaceutical drugs. So
even though my money in the bank account was just dwindling, all of my checks were, he didn't question it, you know. So I don't know if that was he didn't want to see or what, but
I think it's sometimes kind of both. Yes, I don't want to see, I don't want to ask the question because I really don't know what the answer is going to be.
Right.
But in that time period, it was just starting to get talked about. And I don't know that other people that are unaware are thinking, this is exactly what's going on in my family with my wife or my husband or my child, not my wife. They would never. But they look so good on the outside and they present so well. And she manages this, and this, and she still checks on family and she does this. Can't be.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize a major podcast sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by America's Thrift Stores, your go-to option for decluttering and giving back. If you have a closet bursting at the seams or a garage that's seen better days, we've got the perfect solution for you.
That's right. America's Thrift Stores makes it easy to clear out the clutter and make a positive impact in your community. Whether you're cleaning out your wardrobe, downsizing your living space, or just looking to give back, America's Thrift Stores has you covered.
And here's the best part. You've got options. Schedule a hassle-free home pickup, drop off your items at one of their convenient donation sites, or swing by an America's Thrift Store to donate in person. No matter which way you choose, you're making a difference.
Absolutely. Every donation you make to America's Thrift Stores directly benefits charities in your area, such as the Home of Grace and other fantastic organizations dedicated to helping those in need.
For example, donations made to America's Thrift Stores in southern Mississippi help the Home of Grace provide support and assistance to individuals facing drug and alcohol addiction. Your contributions make a real impact on their mission to provide freedom from addiction through Christ-centered recovery. So not only are you decluttering your life, but you're also helping build a stronger and more supportive community.
It's truly a double blessing. So what are you waiting for? Clean out that closet, clear out that garage, and make a positive difference in your community by donating to America's Thrift Stores.
Visit America's Thrift Stores online to schedule a home pickup, locate a donation site near you, or get directions to one of their store locations.
America's Thrift Stores, where giving back never goes out of style.
Right. You would know, no one really knew unless they were around me,
when you were sick.
or, needing, if they had medication, their medication might come up missing.
Oh, right.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course.
Like, then they would figure it out. But during that time.
So you were working, holding a job, and okay.
Yeah. I actually, during that time, somewhere in there, had a bad car wreck. One of my friends and her husband, I was friends with both of them, had went missing, and they ended up finding their bodies. The uncle had killed them. So, and I was taking, of course, took a lot of pills then to cope. Had a bad car accident, broke my collarbone. More medication.
More excuses that,
It's all working out.
I'm having a bad month,
Right. Until I acted out at work, and they wouldn't let me drive home from work. And so I had to get his mother to come pick me up.
Your husband?
And then I knew when he got off that he was going to know, and I called my uncle, because my uncle had been to rehab before, and I knew I had a problem at this time, like it was getting out of control. And I went to, I told my uncle I needed to go to rehab. He helped me find treatment. I let my husband know I needed to get help. I went, but I think it was more of
I'm going to get out of trouble, and I don't want to I don't want these uncomfortable conversations. And
you knew. Well, okay.
This is what's going to fix it.
This is the smart play here. Yeah, right.
But you didn't go with an intention to not use anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, a part of me didn't want to use, but a part of me didn't want to stop, And it was just pills, but when you go to treatment, sometimes you meet all these people who are doing
things you have never done
more.
Yeah.
And they can make life easier, So I got out of treatment and overdosed within very soon. So I left him. And
did you have children with him? I didn't know. Okay.
He and I didn't have children.
So you overdosed. Let me back up. You overdosed, and everybody knew that you overdosed. So the cat was definitely out of the bag.
Yes,
for sure.
You successfully completed treatment, and now you're.
Yes. Well, when I no, I got kicked out of treatment within a few weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
We get into treatment and act out, and those behaviors come up. And, we act out in a lot of different ways. And they kicked me out. And, of course, I made an excuse, and he believed it. And came and got me.
It was their fault.
And then within a few weeks, I overdosed. And that was my first time to ever overdose. And the doctor gave me the choice to go. I had to go to a detox. And so I called my mother to pick me up from the detox. That's how I left him, because I couldn't face him. And it just kept progressing as we were getting a divorce. I start using the needle, and it goes downhill from there. I go back to treatment again, or no, I go to jail for the first time. I think I was 23, and I can remember they had called me with some Dilaudid in DeSoto County. It was 3. And they took my car, and it was a felony. 3 pills were a felony then. So
confiscated your car? Yeah.
Yeah, because it was paid off. And I just gotten it. That was like what I'd used some of my money from the divorce. Yeah. And so I can remember calling my uncle, and he worked on the road too as a truck driver. And I was like, I'm going to jail. Like, I had my phone in the back of the cop car, and the cop's like, what are you doing with your phone? That's when they were flip phones, And I was like, talking on it, like I didn't know. And he's like, you're not supposed to have your phone. I was like, well, I do, and I'm not hanging it up. So, because I didn't get out of the handcuffs, and how we do. And I was a lot smaller too. So, and he's like, I can't come get you. And I was like, oh no.
I'm going to actually go to jail.
She says, I'm not coming to get you. And
so then you got really sick.
Oh no! Somebody ended up coming. A man showed up to come get me.
They're all discussing or know if even your mom is not coming.
Yeah. Yep.
So somebody comes and gets you.
I try to get clean again. And it's just a revolving door.
Yeah.
I would try to get clean.
So no drug court?
I try to get clean again. I get pregnant. I made a guy get pregnant not long after, I guess, my divorce was final. And within 6-7 months, maybe a year, I'm pregnant. This guy and I get married because I'm pregnant. But while I'm pregnant, I can't stay clean the whole time.
Yeah.
You can't.
And that is so hard to say because, my son knows it, but he doesn't. Like that's just one area he doesn't really know. And
well, it I don't know if it proves it, but it's a pretty strong argument to people that have never been through addiction that it's like, if she could stop, she would have. That's when you would stop. But it's like you can't. You're like, and your brain is hijacked by this stuff.
Right.
Absolutely.
And this is 2009. And this is before, it's, hey, we get women into treatment these days that are pregnant and they live there until they have their children. And back then that was not known. If it was,
that, and they were also... No, they went away long term, but a lot of people wouldn't touch you. If you say that you're pregnant and that you need detox or that you're on a substance, they're calling CPS and they're not going to touch you because you're a liability. Absolutely.
Right. Because it's dangerous for the baby for you to cold turkey stop using. So I can remember when I was induced, he and I almost died because I started going into withdrawals. And they didn't know that I had a problem. So he was like 2 weeks early because my placenta quit giving nutrients, but by the grace of God, he didn't come out addicted.
That's crazy.
Another God showing up in my life and trying to give me a way out, right? And I can remember detoxing in that hospital pretty much,
having just given
medically detoxing because they're giving me medication after having a C-section.
Oh, right,
emergency C-section, but not nearly enough.
Not enough. Right.
It's not going to touch
like
you.
his dad's on the couch, like detoxing hard, and here I am, and I get another chance, because I'm detoxing and I'm going to do right. I've got this baby that I love so much.
This is the start of my
world to me,
return.
and I really thought I would.
Yeah.
And
how many times have we had those in our life being like, this is
that moment.
This is the moment.
Yeah.
This is going to scare me straight or whatever.
This is something I finally am going to fight for.
It doesn't usually.
And I can remember he was 2 weeks old and his dad and I get arrested. And that's when CPS got involved. And they sent me to... I was able to go home because I just had this C-section, so they don't want to keep you in the jail with that. And so I was able to stay home for up until it had been 6 weeks since I had him, and then they sent me to detox and committed me to Whitfield.
Okay.
And
To the
my
A&D
kids
program?
stayed with my mom.
Oh.
Yeah, at Whitfield.
What about your son?
How was that?
It's actually
Thank you.
crazy. It's not that bad.
It is not that bad.
That's why I asked the question.
But
I've heard
I'm
literally
different.
nothing but good things
like,
about it.
I was
Yeah.
like kind of like in awe, like, oh, this is like a town? Hold up. I want to
It
get
is
my
like a
hair
little
cut.
town.
I got my hair cut. Like, we had
Oh, yeah.
a whole
You can get your
field day
teeth
and
fixed. You can get all
stuff.
sorts of
Like,
stuff.
I
Yeah.
went to Whitfield. It was not a nightmare. It was not.
it's not bad.
what I've
just-
heard.
It wasn't.
Like, if you smoked, that was the only bad thing. You couldn't smoke, you know? And
You
the
could when I
food
was
was
there.
not that great, but they had vending machines, you know, as long as you had money
It
to
wasn't
get
what you think.
vending.
Like what I was told
I
a
asked
state
that question
hospital
because I've
was.
heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's not bad at all. Like,
Not what you would think.
And it was really like I had a really great counselor.
I did too.
Yeah, they were great.
I can't say, and like I went to church on Sundays. Like
Yeah.
you got to go with everyone from Whitfield to church, pretty much. Like,
So wait,
it's pretty nice.
Were you incarcerated while you were in Whitfield?
No,
Oh, they just court ordered you.
no, you stay in a building. You're ordered to a building,
Little building.
and you can't get out of Whitfield's grounds, or
Right.
you're gonna, get arrested.
Well, it does look like a
But-
town. I don't know
yeah.
that you would find your way out if you wanted to.
And the gates are really high.
Yeah.
Like I was taken there by a cop car, and you
Yeah.
got to keep in mind, like I'm 3
Right.
hours from
That's-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the state's custody
Yes.
while they were
Yeah,
bringing
kinda.
you there.
Yeah, committed. You know how the commitments work, as much as.
So how long were you there?
I want to say 50 something days. And I get out.
Where was your son's dad?
He was in a sober living
Okay.
in North Mississippi.
Okay.
So CPS has your child.
No, well, he lives with my mother. Has temporary custody. They allow my mother to take temporary custody.
Okay.
And my brother at this time had found a girlfriend that was great, and she helped me raise him. And like, I can't. Of course, it was my grandmother but during that time, like she was the one babysitting him, and it was almost like her baby. Her and my brother were really good. That was when my brother was the healthiest, and my kid, was thriving. When I came home, he was doing so well, and I think that I struggled for a long time to know if I had that bond with him because of it. Because I couldn't. It was the guilt that ate me up because, of course, you come home, and if you don't get into therapy and you come home to the same environment of a mother that
Has not gotten
any help,
any different.
and by this time she's back working, and she's thriving, but she's still taking prescription medication.
Yeah.
And you're still a drug addict.
And she does have, lupus and RA and things like that. But we still know, everyone knows I'm an addict. But you know how we addicts are into, I don't know if it was the mother heart or if it's the addict. And I don't want to say she's an addict because my mother doesn't identify as an addict.
I got
She never went to get help.
Yeah.
I think that my mother has a lot of trauma herself. A lot of it's
don't
used
doubt
for
it.
trauma.
So how long were you able to stay clean after making it home from Whitfield?
Not long.
What about your husband?
No, not long. Neither one of us. He gets arrested again.
Did y'all relapse
So
together?
were you still in the court system? Like, was this still, you were out on bail and they were doing this, or you were sentenced?
Sent home.
Sent home.
Like my
Done.
The only
Mom
sentence
and-
was going,
Right.
and once
When
you
they sign
complete
Not a
on
felony
you?
conviction?
No.
it's done.
Gotcha.
Nope. They, which was really cool because I should have had a conviction with that. But the officer knew my grandmother, small town. And also it was
You had just
night,
given
go
birth.
get,
Yeah.
you know how
Yeah.
we can make it look for a long time.
Until we can't. So y'all relapsed very quickly.
Yeah, and it wasn't long and we relapsed.
Okay.
He and I, we could do good together for a few months and do bad together. And he had moved back to where he's originally from, which was a couple hours away, and he was working there and trying to build a life for us there. But,
Just wasn't working.
we just couldn't make it last. we ended up splitting up. I ended up back in treatment, detoxes. You know, I went to detox. I've probably been to detox 30 times. You know, I was like, one treatment center I've been to 5 times until they told me I wasn't a good fit. You know, like that's really sad when a treatment center tells you that.
You're not going to be able to come here.
They've had a fake funeral for me. Like,
what?
Yeah. I overdosed while I was in treatment, and they had a fake funeral for me, like trying to teach me and
what that would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, that's a hard thing to look at, but it's a hard truth we need to look at.
Why were you going to treatment all these times? I know you needed to go, but why were you?
So,
because you didn't have any place to live.
I
so
would go to jail and go, or I would, you know, get tired.
Yeah.
So I'd be on a run for a while.
And you needed
and I just needed to go,
just
get me some sleep, get me, you know, my weight back up again,
wounds,
and figure it out. But I would be broken enough that I really, really wanted help. I can remember being so hopeless when I would walk in those doors, and I would really, truly want it. But wherever I went, there I was, and you get into treatment with male and female.
Yeah.
And I would always find a new victim, as I call them. When I would work in the treatment centers, that was my big thing of saying to the clients, don't find a victim. Because that's what we do. We find somebody else with another problem like we have, so we don't have to think about the problems, you know? And so we would just, you find them, you don't think about it, and then you both are out using again together with it. You know, if you do good, it's not for very long. I haven't seen much success in that. No. I mean, I have seen some successful stories, but they're hard.
Few and far between.
The minority.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not recommended.
No.
Right. I would never recommend that.
Before we go any further, let's take a minute to address the man or the woman listening to today's episode and wishing for a better life. Or maybe addiction has completely overtaken a family member or a friend.
You are not alone. As you may know, the Jesus Loves Addicts podcast is produced by the Home of Grace, a Christ-centered addiction recovery program in South Mississippi with over 60 years of experience.
The Home of Grace has residential programs ranging from 30 days to 12 months. With 2 separate campuses for men and women, they are fully staffed with caring individuals who want nothing more than to guide you to a life of recovery.
Services include individual and group counseling, marriage and family counseling, classes, workshops, GED, and workforce training, all grounded in biblical principles.
And because of donations from the community, the cost of the program is incredibly affordable.
Thousands of alumni from across the country can tell you there is no other program in the world quite like the Home of Grace.
If you want to start a new path to recovery, don't wait. Speak with an admission specialist today. Visit homeofgrace.org or call 833-55-GRACE to talk with someone.
That's 833-55-GRACE. Call the Home of Grace today.
Okay, so, and you're still what, Dilaudid's or Roxy's? Or?
Heroin came into play around 2000.
Once they clamped down on
it started around 2010, but it really came into play around 2014, 15.
When they clamped down on the prescriptions. Yeah.
Right. And then around
And that's exactly what happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then I get arrested in Tennessee, get put on drug court.
That was
Meanwhile, so I would go home. I would be mama, right? There, but not be mama, not who my child needs.
Yeah.
Right? And because I was in and out of rehab, doing
you
okay.
weren't ever constant.
Never. You know, so my poor baby, my granddad, by the time my son was born, had pretty much started to try to only work at home, right? And he, like, that was his little best friend. My kid would run around with him everywhere. And my granddad just passed away like 2 years ago. You know, he pretty much, like, that was my dad, you know? And,
Yeah.
That's been really tough. That was.
I would imagine.
And, but I can remember I get on drug court and they make you live in Tennessee because I don't have a Tennessee address. So when I do my assessment for drug court, I'm honest, and they were like, "Oh, you've been to treatment that many times and stuff." So they put me in one of the stricter sober living houses or transitional houses that you couldn't have a car there, but you're on drug court. You still have to do all the drug court things. You can't have a car or a bike, and you're placed within the hood that you were already buying drugs in.
And they bus you to meetings.
You
and
have
stuff?
to walk to the bus line, like the city bus.
Oh, the city bus.
Yes,
not
they
a
would
van.
give you a bus pass.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Their van would take you to drug screen or to court once in a blue moon.
Where in Tennessee
You'd
was
be in the
it?
hood because
Memphis.
that's where the cheap houses were.
In Memphis. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where, when I got on drugs, that's where I started like running all the time. That's where I done everything at. Because I thought I was hiding the life, by
It's
going
the
there and
nearest
doing
big city.
it. Yes.
And that's where you got on fentanyl, ultimately?
Yes. That's when the overdosing started happening. I overdosed.
What a
all the
terrible
time.
drug. I mean, I know they're all bad, but
And to think,
Jeez.
you don't care about your life, you don't want to live when that's your drug of choice, because you are. I can remember praying to God, please, I'm so tired of living, because I was just tired and I couldn't get clean.
Well,
but I
at that
didn't want to
point, you
kill
didn't
myself.
think you
I
could.
just didn't know any other way out. I knew there was a way out, but I was like, I'm the
I'm not
hopeless
doing
addict.
it. Yeah.
I really thought I was hopeless. But the one thing I wasn't
unfortunate-
leading to was God, Honestly, so I ended up going to prison because I can't complete drug court because I keep running because I'm using, I would keep relapsing and thinking I was smarter than their drug screens and things, and it caught up with me. So I ended up going to prison just doing misdemeanor time. So they have a penal farm in Tennessee, and I stayed clean while I was there. They have a pretty good program. Churches come in, and do Bible studies with you each day of the week, different churches. You got stuff, you're programming all day long. So, that was one good thing.
real quick, hold on. So during all this, where was your relationship with God? Were you...
I didn't have one.
So was it something that you were like, maybe one day
I can remember I would
probably
go
go
to
back.
treatment and I would get my recovery Bible and I would try to dig in,
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was in treatment and I can remember the verse, "Be still and know that I'm God." And I had not looked at anything, saw it, or wasn't reading about it. It just kept coming to me. And I can remember being like, "Okay, God, I hear you, God."
Yeah.
And I would think,
Now I'm getting it.
here it goes. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow God. I'm going to do everything I need to do. And I'm going to go stay with my grandma this time. I'm going to stay with my mom and papa, and
Everything will
I'm
be
going
fine.
to do the right thing. I'm going to go to church and go to my meetings, and I'm going to be good.
Yeah. About to set the world on fire. Watch. Yeah.
But that same environment, I kept going back because if I told them that I wanted to go somewhere else, it was always, "You've already been without your child long enough. You don't need to go to a sober living house, or you don't need to,
You need to come home.
right.
And
your
just
child's
do
going to
right.
go without you longer. Look at all we've sacrificed for you." It was, they didn't understand.
Yeah.
When you don't
It came from a good place, but yeah.
Yeah.
In their minds, and I've heard it so many times, it's, if we get sober, we look good, we sound good, we're fixed, but we're also getting into the Bible, especially if they come from a relationship with the Lord. But they hear that and they're like, they want you to have relationships with your children and your family. And they're like, it's time.
It's time to...
It's time.
Yeah.
It's not just for them, it's for you.
Right.
We want this for you. Not understanding that it's going to take more than that for some of us.
And
There
it might
is no
take
just
you
going
never
back.
coming back.
Yeah, it may never
Not
step
never,
in
but-
foot. No.
Yeah.
My kids saw me overdose after all that. And that is what sent, that's when I really woke up.
How
to
old
what
was he?
Going on. He was 7 or 8. So it was. So when I think that was 2018. So I go to prison, get out, all that, go back home.
How long were you in prison?
So altogether on that charge, I did 11 months, 29 days. That's all you do on a misdemeanor. So I'd already done some on it to begin with, because I would get a weekend in jail or a week, or, and that counted towards it. So I didn't have to do that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was
not a super long time.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing what it could have been, for sure.
But long enough to where you wouldn't want to go back.
Oh, no. But, I got to work. Like, I cleaned the warden's office and, the other offices and the front where they come and put money on your books and stuff, which actually gave me my charge that got me on drug court was a felony contraband that was dropped down to a simple possession for taking drug court. So I could have easily stayed using.
But you didn't.
But I didn't, and so that was kind of giving me a glimpse of like, okay, I can be in prison where the girls are still using, and I can make it here, the hardest time.
But what was your motivation
but I was
to
close
making
to
it?
God in prison. Like, I felt God more there than I've ever felt God in my whole life. Like, that is when I started learning about God. Like, read my Bible religiously.
I mean, how often have we heard that on the podcast?
Like, it gives you time to sit down and look at yourself.
It probably saved your life.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But, I got out and it was a month or so and I was back using. I mean, like,
because you went right back.
Back in Mississippi? Yeah.
Right back to Mississippi, right back to my family's.
Yeah.
So my kid sees me overdose and I go to detox, and I'm going to run back to the same treatment center, right?
One that told you
They
you
said
can't
no.
come back?
Yeah. They're like, no, you're not going to come back. So I called a friend who was a treatment advocate, business development, actually, is what she was. And she said, come stay with me, and I'll help you get in. I was going to come stay with her for a few days, and she was getting me in somewhere. Well, I came, and she's like, Mandy, they call me Mandy. You know what recovery is, So pretty much, I ended up living with her and her husband, because they were about to make the house she lives in a sober living house, and they needed so I stay with her, and she makes me work, and she's all about AA, like she's very involved.
Yeah.
And she didn't allow me to go see my family by myself. There was no overnight stays. Like, it was really what I needed.
Yeah.
So, and I was living in Memphis with her and rocking recovery, and I got a taste of recovery, and then they made me manager of this sober living house when it opens. Well, that's not a good thing to do for an addict that early in recovery, but they meant well, because Angie saw the potential I had. And it kills me to this day that I let her down. I ended up using and, having to ask to leave, and I didn't stay out long because I kept overdosing, and all I could think of was my kid. And I came back, and I remember Googling rehabs on the beach in Mississippi. Right? Like it's something fancy.
Right.
Yeah.
But
passages.
Right. Where you're healed.
Right. Yeah.
And so I ended up going to treatment. I go to detox in Meridian, go to treatment in Gulfport. But this time I hit my knees and cry out to God. And I'm like, God, you've got to help me do this. I can't do this. Like, I knew that I couldn't. And I had some friends find sobriety before me that had gotten super close with God. And I really saw God work in their lives, and I knew if that's what it took for them, that it was going to take that for me. So they were able to just go, because I'll say this. I believe that some people have to find recovery through AA. Some find it through NA. I think that God leads us there, but we don't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? We find God while we're there.
Some people get it in prison. Some people,
Right.
that's, whatever it takes, it takes.
Right. Yeah. I believe in loving the addict until they can love themselves, you know?
Yeah.
So I did AA and God and, Celebrate Recovery. And I have some really, really good women in my life that walk the walk, not just talk the talk, and hold me accountable.
So you relocated to the coast then?
Oh, yes. I was sorry.
You did not go back.
Yeah.
No, I went to a sober living house for 18 months.
Yeah.
And,
Not court ordered.
No.
Because that's what you needed.
No. I forgot. I did end up in some more trouble after that. I got a DUI somewhere in between there. And I was on the run from misdemeanor DUI probation. But my probation officer was just like, you completed treatment, you're in a sober living house, just keep in contact with me.
Yeah.
Because it was during COVID, so you're not
No, but they didn't want you.
I got out of a lot of trouble in COVID because of that.
People right.
Got
Like, I got arrested and they're like,
you're free. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. They let you right on out because they don't want to deal with all that. So
I've talked to people that were calling in and the officers working from home and they're like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What do you do?
They didn't. And it was a blessing in disguise,
Well, was it all? So were you tired of the fentanyl too? Like as far as...
I was exhausted with it.
Because look, that was the end of my using, and I wasn't a huge opiate addict for long, but it was such a... It sounds bad for me to say all drugs are bad, but fentanyl, it's like you can't even enjoy it. You just overdose, and it's just it makes you crazy. I was just so done. It was very easy for me to finally say, "What?
I'm done."
What am I doing?"
You can't, you've marked your body up.
Yeah,
like I'll have
it's like I
scars
can't
forever.
get any heroin if I tried. It's all this fentanyl. Yeah.
Well, and what scares me a lot.
Help me get clean is what I'm trying to say.
Fentanyl scared me, or it still scares me, because we're still losing people. But what terrified me is when I realized how many young people that only could do fentanyl.
They don't even know what they're doing.
That's the only thing that would work because that's all that was available.
Right.
And
that was a
that's
scary time.
Well,
It's
that's
really
when I realized
scary.
with my oldest daughter is when she was on it and she said, it's the only thing that worked. And I'm like, but what do you mean? And she said, there was no heroin.
Right. Or even,
What did you
that
think
would
we
be
were
like
gonna
taking
do?
a
And I'm like,
Valium at a party back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have any of that. It was just this fentanyl stuff. They didn't realize how extreme of a drug it is. No,
and,
crazy.
Kids now, too, they're thinking they're taking a pain pill. They're making these.
Yeah.
They're pressing
Or they think
pills,
they're taking
right?
Xanax.
So they think
I had
it's
a girl tell me
oxycodone,
yesterday
and
that
it's not.
she's doing Roxy's. I said, no,
No, you're
Right.
not.
Your drug screen came back for fentanyl
and
only,
I told
honey.
Your
That's
mom,
it.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
So
I can remember the clients would come to treatment and they would tell me the same thing. 18, 19 years old, first time in treatment. And they're saying, I do Roxy 30s. And I'm like, no, you don't. What do you mean? Your drug screen that I just gave you only shows fentanyl.
Yeah.
What?
I don't even
Well,
need
my
to do a
drug
screen. Yeah,
honey, are you trusting your drug dealer?
Yeah. Yeah. Because they would never lie.
Right. Did they get there in 5 minutes like they were supposed to?
Yeah. They're in the county over.
Scary though. Very, very scary.
It is. And for kids overdosing, they don't know these days. They think they're taking a Tylenol from their mama, and it's fentanyl and they're dying.
Right.
I will say, and it's few and far between, but one young woman stands out, and it was when she found out that the only thing showed on her drug screen was fentanyl because she really didn't have a clue. She is still sober. It was something
Nicole.
about that. It might be. But no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people are dying left and right, accidental overdoses. And I think that that's what I love about working in overdose prevention is I get to hear all these stories and I get to help them find their way to recovery now. Because I can remember being the person that wanted to overdose or be mad that you woke me up from an overdose. Yeah. And, now they're like creating these different teams where when someone overdoses, like somebody can come speak to them at the hospital or reach out to them, within a day or so afterwards to help them find some treatment.
Overdose prevention is awesome. I mean,
they're not going to tell you don't understand.
Well, working in the recovery field, it's easy to get, I'd say, discouraged because it's like, am I making a difference? If that's why you're in it, right? But overdose prevention, it's obvious. I mean, the numbers back it up since we've been distributing Narcan, everything, the numbers are just going down, 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 down.
Yeah. And
so that's awesome.
But, I think that's what kept me clean as well, helping the next addict.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Find themselves.
Step 12.
And even, those who struggle with mental health, like, because my brother is in a nursing home now. And my grandmother is as well. So I'm over their medical decisions and stuff, and the state of Mississippi, like, we help the addict, right?
Yeah.
We don't have much help for a traumatic brain injury patient.
Right.
That is long-term.
We don't have
long-term facilities.
The help we need for mental health.
No, not at all.
Anywhere.
No.
Unless you got a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah. And if you have been struggling for years in addiction and you struggle with mental health, you don't have money.
Right.
There's nothing left.
Right.
It's like, help. So you've got...
So I went back to school when I got clean as well.
Okay.
I've got... I'm still in school. I've got my associate's degree, and I will be done with my bachelor's by the end of the summer.
What are you majoring in?
So I just switched to psychology so I could finish faster.
Yeah.
Because I just really, I think that I want to go to the marketing side of things in the addiction field. I think, because I love networking, love meeting new people, right? And I don't like being inside the treatment center 24/7 anymore.
Yeah. You did spend enough time there.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
As a patient and as a client. And I think that's probably why the clients connected so much with me.
Yeah.
And, my heart's too big sometimes. And I get so close with the clients when you're there with them 30 days, right? Mm-hmm. And my heart, I'll give everything I have away. To them, versus when I'm out in the field like this, I get close, to my peers, but it's easier to close that, boundaries in that relationship.
Yeah.
And, I have boundaries inside the treatment center, but I'm just saying, like,
it's still hard.
I would want to bring them clothes or, I'll go buy nail stuff. Let's do nails after group or something,
Boundaries.
Everything.
Yeah. I have a friend that used to struggle. She wanted to bring them all home, and I'm like, no.
Oh, no, I'm not bringing them home.
No.
But I'll take them to the sober living houses, which we need more of.
Yes.
I wish that we,
What about, I'm always I want to know about the relationship with your son.
Yeah.
Oh. So we have a great relationship. He lived with me. He had to move. I had to get custody of him a couple of years back. His dad had struggled again, and he came to live with me. So, but he's not used to, like, D'Iberville. I live in D'Iberville, and it's kind of like a big city to him. Like, it was culture shock.
Oh, wow.
Because he lives outside of Columbus, next to Sharpeville, in a little small town. He loves his little country town because my kid is real country like this. And he's a great kid. Yeah. He plays sports. He loves football and baseball, and he is yes ma'am and no ma'am, and he loves to go to church, and he loves the girls, and I don't like that, but, he's 15.
Yeah.
So he loves to hunt and fish, and, when I pulled up here the first time, I thought about that. Like, my kid would love to be out here playing, like baseball or something with the guys. So I might come invade y'all and play baseball with y'all with my kids sometime. And whenever y'all are playing, please let me know because he loves it.
Well, that's
we have a great relationship.
I mean, considering it sounded like you weren't around very much for a while.
His dad ended up getting custody back of him. Like when his dad started doing well in his life, because he straightened up, he got custody back when Parker was about 9.
Okay.
So, but then when I started doing good, and his dad messed up. But, his dad's doing good now, and
amen.
And I can't ask for anything better. My kid has a great life, and he's a really smart kid. He's very resilient. I wish that he would go to therapy, but he doesn't like it. I've put him in therapy. He doesn't like it. He said, Mom, my outlet is sports. But what are we going to do?
Children are pretty resilient, considering the things that we put them through. Mm-hmm. My middle child, she sounds like a therapist. Why? Because she spent her life visiting her mother in treatment.
Yeah, my son too. He probably is better at handling emotions than I am at times.
Yeah, she's like, did you want to talk about this? And I'm like, who? Anyway, I just let her. What? No. If she wants to go, she'll go. I've encouraged it, but good for you that you're not like, no, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah. Well, I tried.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And then he's like, she's using this as punishment. And it doesn't look real good when he tells them that. And you work inside the treatment center. And he's like, she's punishing me about that. But I wasn't using it as punishment. I just wanted him to get it out. Mm-hmm. He did get out how those things affected him, but he had to get upset with me to finally let me know how he really was from it.
Yeah.
But then he was over it, and he's like, okay, whatever.
Now I'm going to play ball.
Yeah, he's just a really, really cool kid. He's grown for his age, but he's not,
They grow up fast when we're not there.
Mm-hmm. I thought that my granddad passing would be what, really broke him. But, he was the one strong, for Mama. And he's my best friend. I'm remarried now. I left that out.
No, that's all right.
It's fine.
We just went anywhere with it. I also got remarried a year ago.
Okay.
And
congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he's came through Home of Grace before.
Amen.
Yeah.
So what would you want to say to anyone listening parents, people struggling?
I would say don't give up and keep praying. I feel like my praying grandmother really,
your life is the fruit of those prayers.
Amen. Me too.
So keep praying. Love those babies, or love your kids, no matter what they're doing, still love them. And don't give up if it's you.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Everybody
deserves.
I'm going to let you close this.
Yeah. And something, too, that I always like to harp on is something you said, doing the overdose prevention, it helps keep you sober.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's been, if there is a secret, and you don't have to work in the addiction field or whatever, but addiction is a very selfish, self-absorbed thing, and you have to find purpose in your life that is outside of yourself, giving of yourself to other people, helping other people. Love one another, right? That's what Jesus tells us to do. Mm-hmm. And that's what keeps me sober.
Same.
Amen. Mandy, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Guess I'm going to close this out.
That's
Thank
it.
you all for tuning in to Jesus Loves Addicts. We will see you next time.